Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Talk right here on Love 101. I am Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me on March 26th. For some reason, I think that the month is ending earlier than usual. I don't know why. I don't know. This year just seemed to be going by pretty quickly. Usually January lasts very long. February ends in like a snap. March kind of drags through a little bit. April feel kind of short because it have the two holidays, but it's like I don't know. Does climate change have anything to do with it? I have no idea. But this is why I host a sports show, not an environment show or anything like that. Sports Talk, by the way, is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, country above. Thank you to everyone who is currently tuned in on your radio, the old-fashioned style. But remember, you can listen several other ways through the Love 101 FM app, which you can download in the Google Play or the Apple Store. You can open your browser, listen live on love101.org, or you can watch me on YouTube and Facebook. Hello, YouTube and Facebook friends. Thank you so much. Don't mention anything about my cap. The reason why I'm wearing a cap today, my hair isn't in the best state. And even though it is a radio show and you're not really supposed to care about your image like that, trust me. Me and my barber, we never work out things this week, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. All right. So, by the way, you remember you can WhatsApp me 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. We'll be focusing mainly on football today. The Reggae Boys, they played Thursday, final set of World Cup qualifiers. Remember, so we now go. So if you're still vexed about that, you can message me. If you see some bright spots that you saw on Thursday and going forward, message me. Italy not going to the World Cup, you can message me about that. Champions League, whatever football related issue you have, you can WhatsApp me 997-3125, or you can place it in the YouTube or Facebook comments. All right. After the 1:15 break, we'll be joined by three great analysts, Damon Gordon, Brian Pitter, and Rashida Murphy. So, yeah, we're going to have it locked. You see me? I hope nobody not offended by my use of patois, by the way. I am Jamaican, and this is a Jamaican show. So if you need a translator, I really apologize for you. All right. All right. So Sportsbits, as you know, is just a very brief roundup of things that are going on right now in the world of sports or happened throughout the week or something that you may have missed. All right. So, and I have my laptop today. Fantastic. All right. So for those, remember last week I had updated you on the World Indoor Championships in Belgrade. Well, we finished with 3 medals, including 1 gold from the women's 4x4 team led by Stephanie and McPherson, who won an individual bronze medal in the 400 meters earlier in the day, or was it the day before? I don't remember. But Kimberly Williams also got bronze in the women's triple jump. So the women leading the way for us at the indoor championships. Now, Grace CEO Don Webby announced that athletes who win the 100 meter and sprint relays at the 2022 ISA Boys and Girls Champs from April 5 to 9 will receive a Jamaican $100,000 education grant. Fantastic. ISA also announced that more finals will be spread across the 5 days to reduce the workload of the athletes. So remember, we had spoken to Keith Wellington last week, and he said that there would be a launch on the Monday. Well, they launched it, and one of the things they also announced was that they're going to spread the finals over the 5 days a bit more compared to previously. So usually people are used to like the 100 meters being run on the Friday. Last year, I think it was on the Thursday, but this time around, it's going to be on the Wednesday. So for those who usually wait till all Friday just for what champs because you don't want to see the 100, Start prepare yourself from now. Zimmy. So get your tickets, or if you want to watch it on TV, you can do that too. You know where to find it. For obvious reasons, I can't tell you where to watch it, but you can find it. I'm sure you can. The West Indies, shockingly, are in a good position in the decisive third and final test against England in Grenada. At sports time on day three, England in their second innings were 31 for 3 after 11 overs, trailing the West Indies by 62. Earlier this morning, Joshua Da Silva's maiden test century guided the West Indies to 297, who were at one point struggling at 128 for 7. England's low order in the first innings helped them post 204. So England 204 and 31 for 3, and the West Indies 297. So the West Indies seemingly in control there on day three. And finally, world number one Ashley Barty, who won the Australian Open early this year, um, shockingly retired from tennis at age 25. That's not 35, 25. She made the announcement on social media and said that, she done. Physically, she is giving her all. She's losing interest, and she's now going to chase other dreams. The world number one deciding to retire at 25. That's, well, kudos to her. A lot of people, unhappy and trying to push through, but she knows what's up. So, yeah. All right. It is time for my monologue for the day, which I call the Danielog.
Hi, this is David Blake.
This is Hope Blake.
I am Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm here to tell you right now.
It's time for the Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
I love it.
Presented by no one.
So, for those of who have been following, Prince William and his princess, yeah, Kate came to Jamaica earlier this week. Despite much, what would you say, opposition, because we are now in more of a social media culture where we're more educated, and we're not taking no garbage like one time. So our former colonizers, people say, them should not come. They came anyways. By the way, I'm not gonna talk about that specifically. But Prince William, who was to meet our prime minister, important dignitaries do film business. You know what's one of the first things, one of the very first things he decided to do? He decided to play football. Go down to Trenchtown, play with the Kingston College boys. Not sure why they chose Kingston College. I see all the pictures with purple, and I'm just like, geez and peas. Why Casey? Them couldn't just, or why them did half wear the purple? Anyways, bad mind aside, they played against the Kingston College boys as well as Manchester City superstar Leon Bailey. About Leon Bailey, Raheem Sterling. Leon Bailey was also there. I'm sure Manchester City would love to have him at some point, but our own reggae boy Leon Bailey was also there. So can you imagine the man fly down from the UK, and one of the first things him decide to do is play football? No, because this is a football-based show, I just want to kind of give you the importance of football in Jamaican culture. Now, we don't have a football culture in Jamaica, but to realize that football is so huge and so important to our psyche here in Jamaica that we try to use it in everything to, what would you say, to advance ourselves or to advance a cause or whatever. So when them need to raise money for charity, sports wise, what them do? Put on a football game, call celebrities or call teams, and try and raise funds there. So when there is crime and violence going on in a community that don't seem to stop, what does these agencies or sponsors, what them decide to do? Six aside and go play in the community them and them say, oh, it has helped us so much. Who are one of our newest ambassadors, Raheem Sterling, who one of the reasons why he was in Jamaica, he's now going to be an ambassador for Jamaica, even though he represents England, but he was born here. And he's now going to be one of our very few sporting ambassadors. And guess which sport he plays? Football. So you see where I'm going with this. As much as our reggae boys haven't done extremely well, we still watch them though. We still, for those who pay the $3,000 for go watch them Thursday. Schoolboy football always packed, always have interest. So it just goes to show that football as a sport is such a powerful tool that can be used in anything, right? So for those out there who just don't decide to take football seriously or sports seriously in general, the stats are there. The proof is literally there. So if you want to help make change, football is a very good avenue. I'm not saying that you must ignore the other sports, because I can also make the case for other sports, but because this is more of a football-based sportscast, I'm advocating for football. So, to the government, to sponsors, football can be the driving force in, improving our society, the economy, everything. So invest in our footballers. Invest in our footballers, or in football in general. That would be great. Can you imagine Prince William come down in him white pants for come play football? I don't know why did he choose white pants. Maybe him the things that them they are gonna play cricket, and then them change their mind. I don't know. That's my feeling. But anyways, that's my Daniel log for today. I'm gonna take a break, and then when we come back, more football with our esteemed analysts.
The following is a message from the Ministry of Tourism.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's #1 industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attraction, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
The preceding message was brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism.
Traveling to Jamaica with unaccompanied shipment? The Jamaica Customs Agency is encouraging all air passengers with unaccompanied shipments who have a taxpayer registration number, TRN, to present it to customs upon arrival. This will subsequently facilitate faster processing when clearing your unaccompanied shipments. The Jamaica Customs Agency will continue to implement measures to improve our service delivery and your service experience. You may contact us at 876-922-5140-8 or email public.relations@jca.gov.jm on this and other customs-related matters. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus. Attention seniors, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is now accepting applications for the social pension program. If you are 75 years or older and do not have a pension or steady income, you should apply. Take your government ID, birth certificate, NIS and TRN cards, and your bank account details. Remember, if you receive PATH or poor relief, your benefit will be transferred to the new program. For more information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
It is currently 1:17. Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on Love 101. Remember, you can WhatsApp me 876-997-3125. I will be talking about the Reggae Boys shortly, or just football in general. So you can leave your comments there about what you think and everything, and I will certainly read them live on air. So, as I mentioned, the Reggae Boys are in their last phase of World Cup qualifying. I don't know why we call it World Cup qualifying because we can't qualify for the World Cup anymore. But anyways, on Thursday, they drew 1-1 with El Salvador, and they now will move on to Canada on Sunday, and then they will end it next week. So right now, I'm going to be, let me link up my guests to ensure that all of them ready. All right, let me just fix that. All right, let me add, and then add. All right, see it here now. All right, so let me start first with the lone female, Rashida Murphy, a sports vlogger. Good afternoon, Rashida.
Hi, good afternoon, Daniel. Can you hear me?
I cannot, well, yeah, obviously I can't hear you. And then I'm also joined by sports journalist Brian Pitt of 876 Stream. Brian, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Daniel. Good afternoon to the panelists.
And then I believe sports journalist and football analyst Damian Gordon is going to be joining me shortly. So let me just start with you, Rashida, from what you saw on Thursday with the new look Reggae Boys, just your overall opinion of the game.
So the game, you could see where changes were made tactically, but not a lot in terms of, it's going to be this phenomenal setup or this phenomenal formation. But we could see where the coach is implementing some of his own ideas, some of his own traditions in what he wants the team to do. It's so sad that it came at this point. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and Brian, you were obviously at the stadium, and there were, for the first time in a long while, some positive signs in that we saw, like Rashida said, we saw some actual style of play, and it was sort of unfortunate at times that we couldn't convert. But just your overall opinion of the game.
Yeah, we saw a difference. We I kind of see what Paul Hall is trying to implement, but of course we ended up conceding a goal again, going down 1-0 and having to fight back and still not coming away with the victory. So that was disappointing. But for me, one of the major takeaways is that it was the Leon Bailey show. He was that is definitely his best performance in a Jamaica jersey since his debut in 2019, and almost every single attack came through him. And I was really impressed with his passing range, with his link-up play, with his ability to just impact the team, and the players around him improved because of that. It's just a pity that Gray couldn't take the chance that he was given first time around, and other players as well couldn't really take the opportunities that they were given. But it was a really good attacking performance. I still feel like we need to develop the midfield a little bit more, and we have some defensive trouble as well. But attacking wise, we look promising.
Yeah, we'll be joined by Damon shortly. But Rashida, as Brian mentioned, Leon Bailey looked very exciting compared to games of old. Do you think that the new formation sort of helped him so that he, I guess, wouldn't have more defensive duties, or do you think that he sort of felt free knowing that we're not going to the World Cup, so him just going to go out there and express himself in a way?
I think it comes down to the formation because we have to remember that these players are not superheroes. They can't do everything under every circumstance. When you give them that comfort zone to work with, they're going to, show a little bit of more interest. We see it all the time. Some players fit some teams, some players don't, some players work within what they've been given. But I think because of the change of formation, the change of attitude in the squad, you can say, and the change of how you can say, yes, we're not going anywhere. Let me just show that I do care. There were times I was like, have he seems so much into it, and he's disappointed that there's not going to be a prize at the end to say, oh, qualifications. I think the formation helped, and I thought that I saw that he was disappointed that we're not going.
Yeah. Damien, are you hearing me? Damien, hearing me?
So I can see that you're trying to get me in there, Daniel, but I'm not hearing you very loudly. And of course I'm not hearing the guests as loud as I would like to, but I can barely pick up the audio.
All right. Let me try and adjust that while in the meantime. Brian, you even spoke to Leon after the game, and he had said that he felt he felt more free, that we weren't playing this long
Yeah,
ball thing that we're used to.
yeah.
How impressed then are you with Paul Hall? I know that he hasn't won in the 4 games that he has played so far, but how impressed have you been with his style of play since he's taken over?
I think it's an improvement, and not to really bash anybody who was before Paul Hall, but anything other than what we've been experiencing would have been an improvement. So to kind of praise Paul Hall right now, we have to kind of be careful because is it enough for us to actually build on? But I have seen an improvement, and I'm really pleased with the fact that we're passing the ball more and we're including our talismanic players or creative players more. Liam Bailey is the center of that, but I'm interested to see where we go from here. He's always talking about rebuilding and development. I want to see more of because there's been a bit of controversy recently about the UK-based players that weren't called up or that declined, whichever narrative you believe. And so we need to kind of understand what his plan with those players, and we need to see a team that is used to playing together, a team that knows each other, a team that is more unified instead of just changing up the system every single qualifier. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm interested to see.
yeah. Damon, hearing any better now? All right. Seems like we're still having some issue with Damien there. But Rashida, like Brian had said, we had more local based players in this squad, probably more than we've had in an extremely long time, including some of our um, schoolboys, Christopher Pearson, Tarek Ziminis. Even though not all of them were able to feature, are you happy that he's going down this direction, or you think that sort of like Brian said, he's only doing it because either the UK based players either refuse a call up or not, that type of thing. So do you think that this new approach that he's going for is almost genuine in a sense?
I think that it stems from, I remember time ago persons complained about we're only using foreigners and we don't want to embrace our own and we don't want to give our own a chance. And in order to make it seem genuine, what should have been done is before the whole decline from anybody outside, you get these youngsters into a training squad, you get them over a period of time, get them to get used to the tactics, the formation, all that stuff. Get them familiar with what he's doing, not just, hey, somebody didn't come, so you can come now. Get them in from the beginning and let them know that you trust them. Let them know that there's going to be a chance for them. But I think it's a step going forward. It's a step to show that we're interested in our youth and interested in their talent. Are going to use local base because a lot of people want to see our own, right? We want to see those born and grown in Jamaica on the field representing. So I think it's a good look, but let's start off by actually calling them first and getting them in a training.
All right. I'm hoping that Damon is able to hear me much better now. Let's see if third time's the charm. Damon, hearing me?
All right. Daniel, I'm not hearing you loud and clear, but I was just saying that when you go to a commercial break, we could try and sort out the audio
All right.
issue and then we come back.
All right, we certainly will. So we're about a minute away from that commercial break. So, Brian, we now sort of move to Canada, who might be our most difficult game out of the four that he's played so far. Do you think that this will be, I guess, the real test to see if he's really making progress, or do we just look at it as, this is a continuous, building step, a step going forward despite the opponent?
No, yeah, I think the latter. I don't think we can use any of these games, really. I've been saying whoever takes on the position as the head coach of the Reggae Boys team should be fully assessed after the qualifiers, because they would have inherited a team that wasn't necessarily prepared for these games. And I think Paul Hall is doing his best that he can with the available options to try and salvage some amount of pride left in these games. I'm really nervous about the Canadian game. The Canada, they already qualify technically, or thereabout. So it's not really much to play for, but it's a really strong team, a really dangerous attacking force, and defensively and in the midfield we've been very weak. So I'm very cautious to even predict the scoreline for that match. But so I wouldn't necessarily say that that's the game that we should use to judge Paul Hall in any way. But what we can do is to see if he is given the time after these qualifiers to inject his philosophy into the team. That's when we should start to judge him fully.
All right, so we'll continue the Reggae Boys discussion and other football discussions. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, more with Brian and Rashida, and hopefully with Damien.
Rio Grande to the South Coast. Hotel workers and man wear off boat. This a for the craft vendors, red cap porters and transportation at airport. Jamaica tourism pension plan, building towards the future. For tourism workers across the island, retirement benefits to contributions. Every worker in the industry, permanent self-employed contract. For your service you deserve security. Yes you do. Tourism workers pension plan, build a bright future. Yes you can. Tourism workers pension plan, workers invest through contribution. All tourism workers, age 18 to 59. Tourism workers pension plan.
Start making your contributions for a brighter future.
For further information, visit mot.gov.jm or call 876-920-4926 to 30.
Blue side, more vibe, let's flow. Data for the mobile apps and where you know, yeah. Flow is the way you gotta go, yeah. Face it, grab it, tweet it, snap it, tube it or WhatsApp it. You got it? No, Spotify and the rhythm of your life. TikTok to the world that we are enjoying. Flow is the way to go.
Flow turns up the app. Now your unlimited talk and social plan comes with data for all the apps you really want, including TikTok and Spotify. Get a 7-day plan for only $725. Dial *129 *6 # to activate. Conditions apply.
Building materials, we have it. Shop for lumber, ply, steel, cement, and a wide range of building materials and accessories at any of our 10 H&L Rapid True Value stores island-wide.
Lumber, treated, untreated, dress.
We have it.
Fly, Brazilian farm, Bintador dress, T111, decorative.
We have it.
Steel, corrugated, and merchant bars.
We have it.
Cement, carib, and white cement.
We have it.
H&L Rapid True Value. We're one of the leading suppliers of building materials and construction accessories. So you know
we have it.
I did a crazy attack. You see me means a real G, real go-getter. My life move non-stop. So me have to stay link and floor yard and road. And my connect and one plan link me up at home with Wi-Fi and on my mobile with data and calls to any network. At my yard, non-stop streaming my vibes are studying for my pitney them and out the road. And non-stop vibes, same way. Flow connect me non-stop for as little as $3,999 a month plus GCT. I forget it. Visit discoverflow.co. Conditions apply.
The following is a message from the Ministry of Tourism.
Without a doubt, tourism is Jamaica's number one industry, and our dedicated workers are its greatest asset. Jamaica would not be the heartbeat of the world without you. As the industry rebounds from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, we truly need all hands on deck, yours included. Vaccination holds the hope for tourism's full recovery. In addition to COVID-19 protocols, it is the only comprehensive way to fight the pandemic and save lives. I am therefore urging every worker in the tourism and hospitality industry, in all the subsectors, including accommodation, attraction, entertainment, transportation, and craft, to do your part and get vaccinated. Do it for yourself, your family, your workplace, and your community. Do it for Jamaica, land we love. Stay safe. Get vaccinated.
The preceding message was brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
It is 1:34. Welcome back to Sports Talk on Love 101, wherever you're listening to, whether Jamaica, Caribbean, or around the world. Thank you so much for joining me. So we have been talking about Reggae Boys, and we're going to continue and then move into some other football discussions as well. I am here with Brian Peter, sports journalist with 876 Stream, Rashida Murphy, a sports vlogger, and I'm also here with Damian Gordon, hoping that he has improved his
Daniel,
his teams. Damian, are you hearing me a little better now?
Hi, Daniel. So I can hear that you almost landed a little precursor as it relates to talking about the Reggae Boys, but I'm having a difficulty making that connection with the audio here, just like the Reggae Boys had a difficulty finding wins. So I'm not hearing you loud and clear, but it seems as if you guys can hear me very well on that side. Rashida and Brian, it appears. But if it is that you're able to give me another second, let me grab an earpiece. Maybe that will help me out.
All right, I certainly will. All right. So, by the way, it just shows say when you're in a foreign, it don't mean to everything, Chris. We always a cost flow and with yourself. So I'm here with Brian and Rashida again. Brian, as I think in one of the post-match press conferences, I think Paul Hall had said that we didn't really lose against Costa Rica because they had found a gem in Richard King, who, to me, I don't know if I'm certainly ahead of, I'm jumping ahead of the gun or anything like that. But he seems so much more composed than somebody like a Damian Lowe, for example, not trying to criticize or anything like that. But it just seems that he's so composed. He knows exactly when to dribble out from the back. His positioning seems pretty good, even though he got that yellow card. It was out of frustration, and I can understand. How impressed are you by him, especially knowing that he just came in the squad in the last set of qualifiers, and to me has almost staked his claim as possibly one of the first names on the team sheet going forward?
I'm very impressed. And it's some sort of luck that maybe divine intervention that he got his place in the squad because it was a suspension to Damian Lowe, wasn't it, in the last round that got him included into the team, and then we saw that he was starting. And then now he looks like an undroppable player for Paul Hall. And I can give you a bit of insight. I was talking to Rudolph Speed, who is his coach at Cavaliers last week, and he was expressing to me how delighted they are to have him at the club, and it was only a matter of time before his potential started to be realized on a national scale. And in fact, they have a few offers internationally from clubs overseas, but they're focusing on kind of developing him a bit more and hoping that he focuses more on just owning his craft a bit and not letting the starlight get to him, as we see with a lot of young players, a lot of Jamaican young players that eventually fade off into distant memory. But I believe he has the potential to become a really great player. He seems like a leader as well. He has all the facets of a defender and more. His crossing ability is probably the best on the team. At times in a match against El Salvador, he'd come up to help Javier Brown on the right hand side, and he put in about 2 great crosses, and he did that in the Costa Rica game as well. So it's really, I'll be really interested to see how far he goes. But I have a lot of high hopes for him.
Yeah. We are now in the age of playing out of the back. I don't know why I chose 3 Chelsea fans, but one of those major purchases that you made, to believe was 3 seasons ago, was Kepa, because everybody is moving into that new direction. Your new goalkeeper Mendy can do the same as well. Rashida, from what you see from Andre Blake, obviously he is a great shot stopper. Do you think that he's going to need to sort of work on that, or are you just fine with him just making stops and just like, all right, make the defenders and so deal with that part? Or do you believe that he should work on that, because we are seeing that on the international scale?
I think that's important because, as you said, the game is changing, teams are changing, formations, everything is changing. And in order to compete at the top level, you need to also be there personally as well. You don't have to be 10 out of 10 in every aspect of your goalkeeping career, but you'd expect that with the coach playing from the back, you'd want to make sure that your ball distribution is at least at 8 out of 10, because we don't want any own goal mistakes. We've seen it many times with Manchester United trying to do it, and then the keeper misreads the situation and the defender misreads the situation. So I think working on it, but not trying to be perfect at it, but trying to understand read situations would help.
Last thing about the Reggae Boys, we haven't won a home game as yet, but in the games where we've had fans in the stadium, the USA game and this game against El Salvador, it seems that there was more of a buzz, that the players were a bit more committed than usual, whereas the crowd was giving them that adrenaline. Going forward, have we now seen, this is for both of you, have we now seen sort of the importance of that 12th man? And do you think that maybe either the JFF or the government or whoever needs to find a way to incorporate the fans more so that the players can feel more connected and driven when they're playing.
Yeah, I think going forward, the DRMA restrictions have been, relaxed a bit. Champs is having unvaccinated and vaccinated supporters. Carifta, the same thing. So I think our next home game is against Honduras. We don't really have much to fight for, but we do have a very important aspect of the game where our ranking is very important. So a win would really help the team. And when Andre Grace scored that goal, even though it was late, like it was probably like 300 or 400 fans in the stadium. The stadium was loud. It was really loud. And you could feel the energy. And it's just amazing that despite the lack in numbers of fans, can you imagine if it was a full stadium for all of our World Cup qualifiers? And I literally saw that energy being transcended onto the field, and the players were reacting to it. And every time they move forward, the fans would cheer them on. And yeah, so going forward, hopefully we can have a full house in the National Stadium.
Yeah, Rashida?
Yeah, well, for me, we have to remember that yes, football is a competitive sport, but it's also fun. Who doesn't love to watch football, whether it's on the corner, on a ball field, at a school? So imagine you going into a stadium, you have on your national colors, you're seeing this, whether it's important or not. And the fact that the high intensity of a goal, it's so amazing. So fans are key to football, and we all see when COVID and there are no fans in stadiums how boring it was, and the fans carry that extra energy a part of the game.
Yeah, so I think it was on Thursday, I realized that a lot of Jamaicans they felt a lot better knowing that Italy had lost to North Macedonia, which means that Italy and Jamaica will be watching the World Cup from home. I think that we are going to miss a few, in my opinions, major teams because it's either going to be Senegal or Egypt in World Cup qualifying. I think that second leg is next week. So it's either going to be Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah. And we know that Senegal has more notable players like Koulibaly and others. But when you think about some of, even though when the World Cup starts, we don't really business who not there. But when you think about it, how big of a miss will it be for, the European champions like Italy, possibly the AFCON champions in Senegal not making it? Do you think that it sort of waters it down, or does it make you feel a little better knowing that maybe other countries, and possibly like a North Macedonia if they beat Portugal, will have that opportunity to play in Qatar?
Not gonna happen. Cristiano Ronaldo has to go to the next World Cup. Just saying. But does it water it down? I don't know. It depends on the perspective of the viewer, the fans. But for me personally, I think it's very interesting, that a team like North Macedonia has the chance to go to a World Cup. Italy, I'm not quite sure what happened there. I guess they got complacent and they didn't really perform as best as they could. But it does give an opportunity for smaller nations to get a more exposure. We saw what it did with, in the 1998 World Cup. Japan wasn't necessarily a big country, but they went there, they performed well. I know they kind of revolutionized their football structure over the years, and they produced some good players. Kagawa, Honda. So it can help to build up a smaller nation. So I'm very happy with that kind of inclusion. And the next World Cup is going to have even more teams. I think it's going to expand. So yeah, I don't think it waters down the competition at all.
Yeah, Rashida?
Yeah, for me, I don't feel necessarily sorry for Italy because they got one of the easiest groups you could think of, and Europe has the most places in qualification. So the only teams I would personally feel, wow, we miss them, would be a Senegal because the African qualifying is very hard. It's the most competitive in any continent, and they only get 5 spots, and it's a bit heart touching to say we won't have these world class names, we won't have these amazing players there. But then this is the World Cup. It's not free for all and everybody can get in because they have these world class teams. They're gonna have to work hard for it. They're going to have to put that effort to be there. And I think we're going to see again a very exciting and probably jaw dropping World Cup because of those who are missing out and those who possibly go there and don't live up to the expectation.
All right, 23rd time is the charm. Damien, are you now hearing me?
Loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear, everybody. Persistence is to try. Thank you very much for your patience, Daniel, Rashid, and Brad, of course, and for your viewers and listeners. Just to follow up on the point that Rashida just made, as it relates to teams missing out from the World Cup, I think it's always good when the big hitters are there. I feel sorry for Italy, to be honest. I mean, second time to have missed the greatest show on earth. And of course, even if they're just a shell of their former glory and they're just living on reputation, I think the fact that they would have won the European Championship, many people were expecting them to go on and qualify for the World Cup. And had they gotten there, normally when they're at tournaments, they can be very, very difficult to handle. And so I'm very disappointed for Italy. I think this might just spell the end of Mancini as their coach, because how do you blow it from here? I really don't know. And in games where you expect him to be a little bit more pragmatic and take the initiative, he went defense first, and then, in the end, the crashing out. Just to also juxtapose that, I don't know if you saw an article from that was in the Metro with regards to Fabio Capello, the former England coach, saying that with Lukaku and now Tammy Abraham dominating Italian football, it's an underlying symptom of the fact that over the years, Italian football has been in decline. And I've been trying to think that way too. If Tammy Abraham and Lukaku, who really at their very best, their first touch is can go there and dominate, I think it does accentuate the fact that they're really struggling.
All right. So I know it's just March, but starting with you, Damien, if the World Cup were to start next week, with all the teams that we know have already qualified, the likes of Germany, France, Belgium, Spain, England, Argentina, the Netherlands. Who would be your favorite going into the tournament?
I would have to say Brazil. The ease with which they canted through that. But of course, we can say they've flattered to deceive at recent tournaments. And with Lionel Messi is saying goodbye to the biggest stage. I wonder if the players can galvanize some strength and summon the ghost of the past to try and really give him a good send-off maybe. Belgium, of course, in recent times, we thought that they had the golden generation. Prior to that, we thought England did. England went pretty close the last time out. I think it's a brave puncher who would write them off this time, because I think they have gotten better for it. And Southgate, in credit to him, has really gotten England to be a team now that you have to take notice when they come to the tournaments. But I think that if I were to go with an early pick, I would say Brazil, sentimentally.
Rashida?
I'm a Germany fan, and I love the rebuild that they're going with Hansi Flick. Kai Havertz, best player on earth. So I think Germany is coming with their youngsters and with their, because Hansi he's familiar with some of these players from Bayern. And so with that tactic going forward, I think they have a shot at it. When you look at all these other teams doing their rebuild, France has an amazing squad. Brazil, Argentina, everybody's got an amazing squad coming in, but I personally think Germany is taking it home.
Brian?
Yeah, sentimentally as well, I'd have to go for Brazil. I've always been an admirer of Brazil. I think there are a lot of storylines in this World Cup. Damon highlighted Messi's last, where I think Neymar has something to prove as well, and the team would probably be galvanized by, whenever he's under the coach, he normally performs well. But that's sentimentally. France, I don't think we can ignore France's strength, especially if Benzema and Mbappe continue the same form. Um, England as well, I think, is very, very important, but I'll choose Brazil.
Brazil. All right. If I had to choose, it's either France or Canada.
Canada.
Canada for sentimental reasons because I really want Canadian citizenship. So yeah. But anyways, so, as I mentioned, I have unfortunately I just realized this today. I have three Chelsea fans right here. The the round of 16 happened. You guys cruised through, and now you're going to go up against Real Madrid, perennial winners, in the quarterfinals. Um, whoever wants to start first, because I don't really want to hear it. But are you, I guess, more confident compared to the last time around when nobody really gave you guys a shot, knowing that you are now um, defending champions? Are you more confident going up against um, essentially the champions of Spain because Madrid have gone through? But are you more confident than before that you can beat the Champions League perennial winners?
I think I can. Can I go first, Daniel?
Yeah.
Sure.
On my YouTube channel, I said last season Real Madrid were at their worst and they happened to reach the semi-final. And now they're in a very great run of form. But we need to remember that it's not impossible. We saw what PSG did to them over both legs, and it was until Carlo changed out a few things in his midfield and defensively that they got back into those games. And then you have to remember that Chelsea's also not at their best. They have injuries, they have COVID, they have so many different problems coming in. So I'm running with the underdog narrative that Chelsea have to triumph over this for everything that's going on. And Real Madrid is going to give them a fight. It's not going to be easy like last season because we could have easily won 5-7 at the given moment if the attackers, came to the show. So this year, I think it's going to be completely different. We may not dominate as much, but we'll give them a.
Well, I just let me jump in there, if you don't mind, Brian. I think last year it was easy. It will be easier this time around. I guarantee you, Rashida, because I'm a fan of Real Madrid, by the way. They're my Spanish team, and I've been following them very closely. The ease with which Barcelona brushed aside that Real Madrid side, minus Benzema, it was absolutely frightening. And for me, I've been watching them week in, week out as well in La Liga. They have not been really impressive. I think that the field has been so timid that Real Madrid has managed to run away with it even when they're not at their best. And it reminds me of 2013, I think it was, when Manchester United won the Premier League when Alex Ferguson was in the departure lounge. It was an embarrassment to the rest that they allowed that Manchester United team to win the league. And I think it's the same thing that's happening in Spain right now. Barcelona have managed to put together a very good sequence, and the rest have not been able to live with them. Once Xavi came, and he was almost changed a little bit. So I look at this Chelsea team, and despite all the turmoil off the field, I think that Chelsea will make very light work of Real Madrid. And again, it's going to underline just the fact that English football has been, the dominant force on the European continent in recent years.
I'm not as optimistic as Damian, but I'd like to believe that our team is strong enough with a manager who is as tactically astute as Tuchel. I think we can beat anyone. We saw that last year. But one of the things that I noticed with Real Madrid is that they do have some defensive frailties. But when they're ready to turn it on, it's like they're unstoppable. And we saw that against PSG. So if Chelsea, it depends on the game plan that Chelsea comes out with over both legs. But I do believe that we have enough quality to actually get past this Real Madrid team.
All right, have less than 4 minutes. So City will play Atletico, Villarreal will play Bayern, and Benfica will play Liverpool. Out of all these, out of all the 8, call it 7 because apparently Chelsea are already going through. Who do you think is the favorite right now when you look at these ties to win it all? Starting with you, Rashida.
I think every year we put City in the conversation, and then when they reach the final, they disappoint us. But I think this year is the underdog story, and again, I'm running with the narrative. Chelsea cannot compete with these super teams, and just like last year when nobody had us in the run-ins, I think we're going back to back. But if I had to be realistic, it's either Bayern or Liverpool.
Back to back. Wow.
Well,
Damien.
I guess Liverpool, you can pencil them in. I think they'll have too much for Benfica over the two legs. As it relates to Manchester City and Atletico Madrid, Simeone, Simeone can be their trump card, and I think he might just be able to plot something for Pep Guardiola. Given how Manchester City in recent times have kind of struggled to score goals, they do score. But if you set up defensively against them, you tend to be able to stop them from playing some time. And if it is that, Simeone can get that right, I think that just maybe Manchester City might find themselves licking their wounds again. Bayern Munich, I pencil them in for the semi-finals, and I think if they get there, they can be hard to stop. But if you were to pick two teams from here, I think if you don't go sentimentally, Liverpool, Manchester City for the final, maybe.
For me, I think having watched Manchester City over the past few months, probably weeks, they gave up at one stage was 14 points ahead of Liverpool, and they completely just gave that all up. I think now it's the lead is now to 1 point, I think, or somewhere thereabout. I think it's just the quality of Atletico Madrid will probably be too much for them, so I don't think they'll get past Simeone and Atletico Madrid. But to pick out another team, I'd have to say Bayern. I don't really see another team as strong as Bayern in the league, other than Chelsea, of course. So hopefully, those two teams can recreate the 22 Champions League final.
All right. Out of time, but I'm sure closer to that Champions League final when Chelsea plays whichever other team is there. We'll have you guys on. So Brian, Damon, Rashida, thank you so much for joining me and enjoy the weekend.
Thank
you, Daniel. Bye, guys.
All right. So that was Brian Pitter, sports journalist with 876 Stream. Rashida Murphy, sports vlogger. You can find her stuff on YouTube. And Damian Gordon, sports journalist and football analyst. For some reason, today feels a lot shorter than usual. And it's kind of funny because last week we actually had a shorter show and it felt longer. I don't know why. But anyways, so that's it for Sports Talk for today. Thank you so much for joining me. As you know, Sports Talk is brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency, country above self. Please enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And remember to watch some sports. All right. So take care.